And make sure that it's it is live. It is live.
Oh no. Oh, there we go. Waiting for Jay Cottle. What? What you waiting for me for?
Who's waiting for you?
The live stream that said it was waiting for me.
Yes.
Love
Ooh.
that routine. Okay, we'll run that again at the end of the night.
Yeah, I like that. I like that so much. That
Yeah.
was fun. It was everything it needed to be. Um, but let's get into it. Hello, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. We are literally in like multiple different locations. So
Amen.
one of us is calling from South Africa. Jay is in Massachusetts. Quiana is in Texas. So there's a lot going on here, but we're super excited to be here today. Here for the Allison Wade Masterclass Series in conversation with Quiana Holmes.
Woo!
Listen, round of a freaking applause. You hear me? Literally around. It's so weird when you're on the screen because like it's the opposite. Like
It's
I'm literally
reversed. Yeah.
it's reversed, and I'm like I look stupid. I feel dumb. Um, but again, we're super excited to be here today. So again, welcome to the Allison Wade Masterclass Series in conversation with Quiana Holmes. We're super delighted to be here today and have Quiana. My name is Neo Gcabo, and I am the Director of Marketing and Community Development at Dunamis.
And my name is Jay Cottle. I'm the Executive Director of Dunamis, and we are thrilled to have our second master, Miss Quiana Holmes, here with us today. Before we get into today's conversation, we're not going to hold you too long. We figured you might be asking, who is Dunamis? How you say that word? And so a little bit about us. We are a nonprofit based in Boston that really began because we were asking ourselves the question, how do we prepare young creatives, whether they're artists or whether they're arts managers, to have successful careers in the arts? And first off, even that phrase, a successful career in the arts, so many people think that that's impossible, or it has to be Beyonce, right? They go, if you're not like, Beyonce and stadiums and Grammys, then you're starving. And that is just so very not true. There are so many paths, so many ways for people to find success. And so we began the work by just teaching folks the hard business skills they needed to be creative entrepreneurs. But as we were doing that, as we were teaching them about their taxes and how to negotiate their contracts, we found that there was a lot of shared pain and anxiety and worry and shame and joy and dreams that folks had. And we've learned that we had to hold a little bit more space for that as well. So not just what it means from a business perspective to be a creative entrepreneur, but what it means to live and move through this world as a creative. And so the latest expression of that desire to honor that piece that we saw in folks was the Allison Wade Masterclass Series. And this series is all about getting these masters, getting folks who are thriving in their careers, whatever that means like to them, to share authentically and transparently what they've gone through and what they're going through, and more importantly, how they got through, and sharing those lessons with all these other creatives who want to also have success in their careers. So if you want to learn more about our work, learn more about our programs, or support the work that Dunamis does, please head over to dunamisboston.org. That's DUNAMIS Boston.org to learn more.
Did y'all hear Jay? Did y'all hear everything? I just want to make sure. Okay, cool. Because
Okay,
you
cool.
cut out for you cut out like one hot second for me, and I
I
was like,
did. Uh-oh.
yes. I
Okay.
was like freaking out. I
I
was
heard
like,
everything. I heard
is
Okay.
everything.
it me? Is it me? Is it me? Is it me? It might be me, and I do apologize if it is me. But so awesome. We want you to hear a little bit more. I don't know if you said that. We want you to hear a little bit more about the Allison Wade Masterclass series. So to do that, I'm going to throw us into a little quick introductory video about the series, who Allison Wade is. You're like, who this person? How did y'all even get this name? So here we go. Quick video about who Allison Wade is. Also, bear with us, y'all. This is literally like our first time being in StreamYard. And so we are.
But look at these
Terrible.
designs, y'all, real quick. Let's just take a moment. Look at how beautiful this is, right? This could have been a Zoom, but we was just like, no. And Neo designed all this. So you're welcome. You're welcome.
You're schmalcom. You're schmalcom. All right, all right, all right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Introduction to the lovely Allison Wade.
Cambridge and a medical.
Technology.
Hello, my name is Allison Wade, and I am pleased to be here on behalf of the Allison Wade Masterclass Series. I'm a licensed independent clinical social worker who works in the education and medical fields with a passion for trauma-focused work. I firmly believe it's important that we address all levels of trauma and acknowledge the impact that trauma has on developing bodies and minds. For the past 15 plus years, I've worked as a school social worker in Cambridge and a medical social worker in the emergency room and trauma surgical intensive care unit at a level 1 trauma center in Boston. You may be wondering how I, a social worker, came to be involved with Dunamis and why I was the first to donate to their Kickstarter campaign a few years ago. Well, in addition to being a social worker, I am also a voracious consumer of the arts. I enjoy attending theater productions, concerts, and dance performances. For me, my love for the arts started when I was in high school in Long Island, New York. I attended a high school with a well-known theater and dance program. And while I knew from day one I wanted to be part of the program, I didn't have the courage to audition until my sophomore year. I was both excited and racked with nerves the day I auditioned for the few coveted spots reserved for sophomores. I was even more excited when I was admitted to the program. I enjoyed the coursework. However, I struggled with debilitating stage fright, or what I now know better as anxiety. And though I did all the coursework during the day, I spent the majority of my time behind the scenes in school productions. The feeling of freedom when I danced stayed with me to this day. I am the proud mother of two, and I have tried to instill a similar love of the arts in them as well. My son, now 24 years old, is an educator and a musician. My daughter, now 16, defines herself as a scholar, athlete, and artist. I've seen the way that music and drawing have been an outlet for them during the most challenging times. When Jay, a student who I worked with at Boston Arts Academy, launched his company via Kickstarter campaign, I knew I had to donate. Seeing a former student take the leap to create an organization aimed at supporting and managing BIPOC creatives moved me. While at the time, I wasn't exactly certain how Jay's idea would evolve, I was certain about his passion for the work and his desire to represent and impact young creatives of color. I knew Dunamis could be a potential game changer for Boston. So here I am today, lending my name to this innovative master series. Welcome to the Allison Wade Masterclass Series.
Yes.
That's Miss Allison Wade, y'all.
There
That's Miss
is,
Allison
there is.
Wade. She be doing the things. She be doing the things. So real quick, let's talk a little bit about why we're here, right? Artists are entrepreneurs, as we've said, and it requires the best of our business skills to carve out successful careers. But what about the real human challenges we face as we strive to bring art into the world? How do we get to the heart behind the hustle? This Allison Wade Masterclass series aims to engage in conversation with creative entrepreneurs to answer some of these questions and share pearls of wisdom for navigating their various industries. Now, before we really get into it, I want to start off with some quick logistics and a program outline. This initial part of the presentation is just a quick intro, and then we're going to have Quiana, our guest, do her presentation. And then at the end, we're going to wrap it up with a Q&A. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat option, and we'll get to your questions at the end as part of the Q&A section. And I'm going to pass it over to Jay.
Yes, and so without further ado, because now you know about Dunamis, you know about this masterclass here, it's time to know about Quiana, right? Okay, so we're going to introduce our master for this evening. Quiana Holmes graduated summa cum laude with a professional music degree from the Berklee College of Music. I don't know if y'all heard of that, but it's a place. It's real good. Quiana's currently the soul singer and ensemble member and the Mary understudy in the 50th anniversary Broadway national tour of Jesus Christ Superstar. She was also seen as Mary Wilson and Diana Ross's understudy on the 2017-2018 national tour of Motown the Musical. She recently originated the role of Bess Houdini in the audio theater experience The Illusion, the Houdini musical, and made her short film debut starring as Sid and the short film Lean In. Her other credits include Dina Jones in Dreamgirls at Berkeley, Friends with Kibibi and the Festival of the Lion King at Walt Disney World, Dorothy in The Wiz with Fiddlehead Theater Company, and Mimi in Rent at the Capitol Theater. Welcome, Quiana, and thank you for being here. Take it away.
Thank you for having me. I would love to start out with my presentation. We're gonna do that opening video. Thank you guys for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I was going to be taking care of my video, but Neo is going to be doing the honors tonight. So I was going to work.
I got you, girl. I got you. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Make sure that Quiana's ish is here, and I'm a dip out for a second. Here we go.
Do you want to show me how a strong leader protects his people like I know you can? Take care of yourself. And that starts by going in there, because for you to take care of us, you need to take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself. What does that actually mean? Does taking care of oneself look the same to everyone? I mean, how can it? We have all grown up in different homes and we come from different backgrounds. We all have our own personal experience. My wants and needs are different from yours. And with that knowledge, it's important for us to learn how to communicate those desires to the people in our lives, whether it be friends, family, colleagues, romantic relationships, and even acquaintances. Hi, my name is Quiana Holmes, and I am really excited to be today's master in the Allison Wade Masterclass Series with Dunamis Boston. I want to get real about some of the human challenges I have faced while cultivating the career of my dreams. All of the clips you see here are highlights of my professional career. This is what I want the world to see. And as artists, of course we want to showcase the work we are proud of and put our best foot forward. But in that same notion, there are so many moments you don't see on the screen that has made me the human I am today. That has made me, well, Quiana. Moments that are not shown here include moments when I feel like giving up music, moments when I am exhausted and not feeling motivated to do anything, Moments when I just want to be alone, unbothered. Moments when I don't like myself and I'm freaking out about my self-identity. Look, the list could literally go on forever. But the reality is, I am the amalgamation of all these things, good and bad. And it's my responsibility to accept and own every single aspect of me. I like to say it's a form of self-love. I know it sounds cliche. We hear so much about this so-called self-love. Pampering ourselves by getting our nails and hair done, taking baths in candlelight. But what about our emotional pampering? There is something to be said about how we communicate with ourselves. So many topics I could have gotten into tonight. But what I wanted to share with you is my experience and struggles with imposter syndrome, people-pleasing, and setting boundaries. I am not perfect. I still sometimes struggle with these topics and have a long way to go. But I am finding ways to manage my emotions and my reactions in a healthier way. Anyway, I'm excited to take you along on this journey with me tonight. Let's get into the conversation.
Let's get into the conversation. Let's get into it. I want to go back to that line, take care of yourself. As I was preparing that opening video, that line stuck out to me, and it really encompassed everything I've been learning, and it became a focal point that I kept going back to. So that line was from my first short film ever called Lean In. It was written and directed by Kanan Severin, and it's available on YouTube if you're interested in watching. But the movie is about a man who has a lot of unresolved trauma with his brother. And his wife, Sid, which is the character I play in the film, she is encouraging him to seek therapy, seek help, because she sees that this unresolved trauma is eating away at him. So she's like, dude, you need to go talk to your brother. You need to go see this counselor. You need to get your life right. We shot this film shortly after a really rough year. And can you guess what year that was? 2020. Jesus Christ Superstar closed for 18 months. I was going through a breakup with my boyfriend of 5 years at the time. My dad passed away, and it was hard to make money because of the lack of work. Literally every venue was shutting down. Just to paint the picture, I was in a very dark space. So once I read the script, I knew it was something that I wanted to be a part of. There were themes that in the film that resonated with me, and it resonated with me especially in that time with everything I was going through. I felt like Sid was talking to me. She was like, Quiana, go get therapy, talk it out, face your demons, face your trauma, face all of it. I remember feeling so many emotions at that time. Like I was happy to be at work. I was happy to be back doing the thing that I loved. But I also felt so emotionally drained and hurt. While all of that existed, I'm talking about the film now. I was so nervous to actually be on film. Up until that point, I was involved with theater. All I knew was theater. I'd never stepped foot in front of a screen. And theater and film are very different things. In theater, your gestures have to be big. You have to hit the back of the house. You have to make big gestures. You have to make a statement. And in film, everything is very direct. It's quiet, small gestures. It's very intimate. I got into my head about all of the things I didn't think I could do, even though I already booked the job. I'm going to say that again. I got into my head about all of the things I didn't think I could do, even though I already booked the job. So many negative thoughts were coming to me. I hate my voice. I sound like a 3-year-old. Oh my gosh, am I going to look good on screen? How am I sounding? Does my director like me? Do my colleagues like me? I think that I sound terrible. Like just so many things were going through my brain.
I felt all of these things about myself, even though I showed up prepared and I was super confident in the material. Fast forward, after all of the worrying and after all of this self-doubt, I watched that film at premiere night. And I realized that I was actually proud of my work and that I did the best I could with the resources I had. So why was I overthinking so much? This better not be my Aquarius nature getting the best of me. Aquarius, we overthink. But why did I constantly put myself in this negative headspace? I realized that I had a habit of doing this to myself. And of course, we have negative thoughts, but is there any way that we can not put ourselves down and still acknowledge that we might be nervous and really care about the project going well? I know I wasn't as confident being on film as I was on stage, but I still had the acting experience that got me into the room. So why did I feel like I was a fraud? Why did I feel like they made a mistake in choosing me? So I started Googling about what I was feeling, and I found that other people were feeling the same. Doctors, lawyers, actors, teachers, parents, surgeons, people who are highly skilled in what they do felt the same thing that I was going through. I saw the term imposter syndrome, and at first I was like, what? There's a word for it? Like, there's a term for this? What you mean? There's a name for what I've been feeling, and there's a whole community of people who have experienced this. I mean, I guess it was nice to know that I wasn't alone. There was a sense of comfort in community, but what the heck is this phenomenon? Thinking about it, I remember actually having terrible imposter syndrome when I was asked to be a master for tonight. Neo sent me that email, was like, hey, I think you'd be really good at something. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like,
Yes.
you want to be a master for our Allison Wade Masterclass.
And I still stand by it, by the way. I still very much so stand by it.
I remember having to take a second. Like, I think I took a day to like read her email over and over again. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
Here you are today. Here you are today. Just
woo!
Round of applause getting over that.
For real. Like I remember feeling like, wait, a master of what? Like a master of what? Like I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything worthy of being a master. I haven't done anything worthy of me speaking about. Like I can't pinpoint it. I also like something I'm really insecure about is my voice. I'm like, I think my voice sounds like a 3-year-old. I sound like a toddler when I speak. So I was like, oh my gosh, what do you mean? Like people are going to be watching me. People are going to be like listening to me. Oh my gosh. Like, no, this cannot be.
Which is funny because people do that all the time whenever you perform. That's literally what's happening all the time.
For real. It is.
Yep.
It is. But like, for me, I was just like, there's no way that I could do this. And like, I mean, thank you for asking me to do it, but like, what am I going to talk about? Anyway, it got the best of me. But like, as I was getting into my head about this, I started to remember all that I've researched about this so-called imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I will not let this win. I will not let this win. I know that it's just me getting to myself. And I know that this is me saying, Quiana, you don't have what it takes. You're not worthy enough. But through all of that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go forth and I'm going to go through with this. I'm going to go through with this, even though my mind, like every inch of my mind was saying that I couldn't do it.
Lies.
So, I know, right? The lies. Yep. How dare we? How dare we? So, with all that being said, there are ways that I've been trying to overcome and cope with this imposter syndrome. And here are some ways I would suggest if you're going through this too, because I'm sure we've all felt this in something that we are completely skilled at and good at doing. Number one, I had to realize that I'm human. And these negative thoughts come and go. Like, I mean, let's just think about that for a second. Thoughts come and go, right? Negative, positive, whatever. They're here 1 second, they leave the next. They come and go. And I had to accept that they are purely just thoughts that I don't have to act upon or put too much energy into. 2, I had to understand the fact that I was asked to be in this space. I was asked to audition for that role in Lean In. I was asked based on the work that I had done.
Yeah.
So I had to understand the fact that I was asked to be in those spaces, and I wouldn't be here if I wasn't qualified to be here. I had to learn how to trust my knowledge.
Yep.
I had to trust my preparation.
That's good.
And I had to trust my ability.
Yeah.
You got to trust your ability. You've done it. You've done it 1,000 times. Quiana, you sang this song 1,000 times. I remember going on for Mary, which happened, was that last week? I don't know. Time is flying so bad. Time is flying by.
I think it was. I think it was last week.
Was that last week already? I guess so.
Week.
Wait, maybe it was the week before last. It was the week before last, because last week was, in Memphis. Like, I remember going through like all of my music and being like really solid on it. I was like, you know, I know I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna do my thing tonight on opening night. You know, for me, I'm gonna do my thing. Right. And then I remember about to go on stage, like I'm getting ready. I hear the ensemble singing, what's happening? And I'm like standing backstage, like with the mic in my hand, like oh my God, I cannot believe that they asked me to be up here. Like, oh my, like I have never sung a song before in my life. Like, Quiana, really? You're really going to sit here and psych yourself out like this? That's crazy. So,
okay.
You have to trust your ability. I had to trust my ability. I had to stop downplaying my accomplishments.
Yes.
Let me say that again. I had to stop downplaying my accomplishments. At one point in my life, I wished to have experienced the things that I have experienced. I wished so badly that I was ever able to be in an ensemble of a show. I remember going to Broadway and being like, oh my gosh, like this is what I want to do. I hope one day I'll get there. And look at me now. Downplaying it. That's crazy. That's crazy, sis. You got to get better. You got to do better. You got to do better.
Amen.
So I had to learn how to stop taking where I am for granted. Like I've done the work to be here.
Yeah.
Next, I had to still do the thing. When you asked me, Neo, like, do you want to be a master for this? And I said, woo, I'm nervous with every inch of my body.
Right.
But I'm really, really proud of myself and glad that I said, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Still do the thing. Don't let go of opportunity because you don't think you're worthy enough. If it presents itself to you and you take interest in it, that's a big thing. If it presents itself to you and you take interest in it, and you're having these feelings that you might not be able to do it, do more preparation so you feel ready and worthy enough to be in that space. Just do the work. And that's something I had to do here. I was like, okay, now I'm a master. I'm a master of the night.
That's right. Now I'm a master of the night.
Right. Now I'm a master of the night. Like, you know, I've said yes to this opportunity. And even though my brain is saying that I can't do it, you have to do it. So now what are the things that I have to do in order to
do the thing for me to feel like proud of myself, for me to sit comfortably in where I am. And like, honestly, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, I'm still nervous. I'm still shaking right now. Hands going like this. Hands are shaking. But I'm like,
you are killing it. You are killing it.
As I'm thinking about it, like I'm saying all of this, and I'm speaking to myself in the moment. Like I gotta trust my preparation.
Yeah.
You know, I'm worthy enough to be here in this space. You're worthy enough to be in that space. Lastly, express your worries with someone. A licensed professional, a friend, a family member, a colleague. Talking it through will help you release some of that toxic energy and get corrective feedback. When I spoke out about what I thought about myself to my peers, they was like, girl, you crazy. What you mean, sis? Like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, this happened so much. I was just like, oh my gosh, like, stop. You know, but like, I got a lot of positive feedback, which helped me move forward and gain the confidence in myself. Now, I will say, be careful not to rely on others' opinions for your self-validation. Like, most of that should come within. Most of that you should know, like, okay, you know, I know my brain is going through some things right now, but I can self-validate and I can trust myself. But it's healthy to talk it through. Like, I had to talk to my therapist about it. I was like, look, I'm nervous. I'm nervous to be a master. I don't know what this means. I don't know what it means. I don't know how it's gonna go. Like, I'm still worried about what I'm gonna say. You know,
what's a master? What even is that? I don't even.
Definition, please. Definition, please. But it's healthy to talk it out. I know, like, I thank my friends so much. Like, even like for supporting me tonight, like, so much love that was given to me. I was just like, wow, I needed all of this energy to combat what was going on within me. You know, so you know, I have my friends and my family and y'all to thank for that. So thank you. But yeah, talk to someone about it. Let it out. Let out your worries, because honestly, when you hold it in, it's worse. It just starts festering in you, and then you're just like, where do I go with this? Yeah, that's that. Can we go to the next slide, please?
Yes, of course. I just want to say real quick that y'all, Quiana, okay, so you know, this is our second master event, right? But this is our first virtual one. It's our first virtual one. And so not only did we not know what to expect, she also did not know what to expect. And when I tell you that Quiana was prepared, like over prepared, like to the point where the things that she showed us and how well she just prepared herself to be here today was so exceptional. And I remember texting Jay and I was like, she understood the assignment. She understood the assignment. And I think 10 points for her, because wow. So I think, you know, not only are you speaking to the things that you are speaking to, but you're actually living the things that you're talking about. And I think that's such a beautiful thing to experience, that you coming on here today and saying, do the work, be prepared. And we can safely say that you actually were prepared, is a testament to who you are, and is a testament to how far you've gotten in showing up as a creative person. So anyway, I'm going to shut up and I'll move us into the next slide.
Thank you so much. That was really sweet. Thank you. Yes, this is what we're going to do. We are going to, let's just get a definition of this. Imposter syndrome, as defined by the Oxford Language Dictionary, is the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. I sit with that. That definition, and it's just like, ooh, deserved. Wow. Anyway, this is a poem that I wrote about imposter syndrome. Okay, so wait a second. So wait. I have a story. So in Berkeley, I took this poem writing class, And I really had so much fun. And like tonight, I wrote 3 poems. And I can't wait to share them to you. But this is my first one about imposter syndrome. And yeah, let me know what you think. Haunting empowerment. The option is hard to see. I know. But I don't have to receive the false reality laid out for me. I'll grow through the redirection of my own mind.
That's how the poets do it. You gotta show up with the snaps and the, this is the real deep ones too. They
Look, here's the thing. Like, I mean, this haunting empowerment, it's haunting me. It's like this imposter syndrome is haunting. It's haunting. It's I don't want to listen to it. I'm scared to hear it. I don't want to hear the bad things about myself. But also, it could also be empowerment. It could also be a redirection of your mind to say, okay, here are the things I don't like about myself, and here's how I'm going to fix it. Here's how I'm going to change it. Here's how I'm going to improve it. Here's how I'm going to be better at this thing that I said that I am not good at. Let me find the steps to get better at it.
Yeah.
There's empowerment in that imposter syndrome. Take it and refocus your mind. And I'm not saying that it's easy. I am not saying it's easy. It's going to take some practice. It's going to take years of practice. For me, it's taken years. It might come to you sooner, but for me, it's taken years. But that redirection of your mind, that refocusing, just being like, all right, I know that I'm having these negative thoughts, but I'm going to still do the thing, and I'm going to prepare myself to be in this space. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. Before we get on to people pleasing, I wanted to answer this question that I found on the Dunamis sites. What did I wish I knew? That question stuck out to me, and I kept coming back to that question. So what did I wish I knew? Okay, about imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is something that we can overcome. It just takes a redirection of your mind. You might not be able to stop the negative thoughts, but you can work through it. Take your time and be gentle with yourself. It will take some practice for you to figure out ways that will best help you cope with your thoughts, but it will get easier to filter through the harmful ones. That's what I wish I knew about imposter syndrome. Period. And this next slide. Thank you so much, Neo, for being you and being here.
Listen, I'm here for anything you need. I am here for you. Okay. If I need to be a little cheerleader, yes, girl, you're doing it. You are killing it. You're doing amazing.
I really needed it right now. I really did.
I got you. I got you. You are the master today. Okay? And you are really, thank you for sharing your knowledge. So we got you, girl, whatever you need.
Thank you. People pleasing, as defined by the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, is a person who has an emotional need to please others, often at the expense of his or her or they own needs or desires. Let's get into it. Okay. This next story I'm about to tell you, I've been scared to open up about because there were so many ways that I could have handled the situation better. And for the longest time, I felt a great sense of shame. I was young and I didn't have the communication skills or felt like I had the permission to speak up for myself. But this year, actually, I've finally forgiven myself for not knowing what I know now. So here we go. We're going to get into it. So there was this particular person I had gotten close to on this show I was working on. She was older than me. She's super talented, beautiful, super smart. I literally looked up to her in every single way. Once we got closer, I remember feeling a sense of inadequacy when we spoke to each other. My opinions were constantly being invalidated. And I remember feeling like I was being talked down to and like not being treated like the adult I considered myself and wanted to be treated like. I was 21, 22 at the time. So, me, I'm like on the show and I'm like, yay, I'm on the show. Yay, I get to do what I love again. Thank God that I'm on contract, because honestly, you never know. This could be my last time performing, but I'm going to take this. I'm going to take every single performance as my last, because you never know. So I'm really excited to be on this, on that show. And I'm growing. I'm feeling adult. And yes, I don't know everything in the world, but at 21, you think you do. You think you know a lot.
Right.
So
Right. Like only now can you start drinking. Like, what do you think you really know?
ma'am, sit down. You are in time. Sit down.
Yes. Correct.
No, but no, but like there was a sense of respect I had for myself, and I wanted to be treated as such. I wanted to be treated like, I carried myself. I walked into the room prepared, and I was doing the work. So, I wanted to be treated as such. It started to go as far as her like giving me notes about my acting and blocking on stage. And I began to feel really uncomfortable. Notes being like, okay, can you like stand here actually, because like I want to do this move and like I need you to be here, or Quiana, can you do this, or Quiana, can you do this, giving bossy vibes, but we're gonna move past that. So yeah, these notes were never given to me by the creative team, but she insisted that I change to fit her way. Anyway, I listened to her because I didn't want her to think I was hard-headed. And I so badly craved her friendship. Why? That reason I didn't know. And it's a reason I still don't understand to this day. But I so badly wanted her approval. After a while, her notes got more aggressive, and it felt like she was speaking to me like I was stupid. And like she didn't trust me at all. And I was so confused because I'm like, what do you mean? Like the creatives have come here and they have never said anything. Like they've given me my notes and they've told me what I needed to do, but like it was never these ones, and it just felt so personal.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Yeah. So I started feeling bullied. But I started feeling bullied in secret. Like I never was outward about it. I just started harboring these feelings and being like, okay, like I want to listen to you, but like the way you're speaking to me is not okay with me. And I was starting to feel those feelings.
Yeah.
It got to the point where like I was really starting to get down about myself. Like I would go home after shows, after things that she would say, and like I would like close the blinds and like started getting into my head about myself. And like, I would start like thinking I was a bad actor. And I was starting to think like, oh my God, like I'm not good. Like, why am I here? Am I too young to be here? Like, but girl, you're thinking all of this, but you would book the role. Like I'm thinking back now.
You are here already.
Okay. I'm already here. So like, like thinking back to me, thinking about all of this, like me in the bed crying myself to sleep, being like, oh my God, I'm not worthy enough. Like when you're booked on the show already, it's kind of crazy. Thinking about it now, it was a very different time going through it. Obviously, I was young.
Right.
And like, I just wanted that validation. So I felt bullied. I went to my stage manager to let them know of what was going on, but they didn't address the problem right away. And I was like, are y'all scared too? Like, what's going on here? Can nobody speak up for me? Like, I'm going through the right channels. I need to know who is here to help me. Yeah. Please help me.
Anybody, really. I'll take
it. But yeah, they didn't address the problem right away. So like more weeks went on, and then I was like, all right, let me remind them of this problem, that it's still going on. And I talked to them again about it. And then one day she found out, and she got very upset to find out that I went behind her back and told on her to stage management. Now, I understand that feeling because at that point we were friends, so I understand like why she would be upset that I went to stage management. But like when you're working in a work environment, you have to go through the right channels. Like you know what I mean? You have to go through the right channels for that
Right,
message to be
right.
passed down in an appropriate way. The same way that she should have taken, you know, me giving me notes. She should have given that to the dance captain. The dance captain should have told me. I would have been able to take those notes with grace. Yeah. So she got very upset with me because I went behind her back and told. And I remember getting so scared of
Mm,
losing her friendship.
yeah.
And 21, 22-year-old Quiana lied about going to stage management because I didn't want the confrontation. Listen, it's not me. It's Aquarius. It's an Aquarius thing. We hate confrontation. What?
Not
I
not you blaming the stars. Not
No,
you
I know.
blaming the
Not me blaming the universe, ma'am. Like, come on. Yeah.
stars.
No, I know. I'm looking about it and I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I lie about that? Like, what's wrong with me?
Right,
But like,
right.
yeah, like lying, like how did it get this bad? How did it get so
Mm,
bad that I was willing to lie about my problems to please this other person? I had neglected my feelings and my voice to make sure she was happy, even though she was hurting me.
mm,
I neglected my happiness to make her happy, even though she was hurting me.
right.
Why did I desperately need this validation and
Yes.
love?
Is it worth it? Is it really worth it?
Is it?
Mm,
I didn't want to be looked at in a negative light, but
mm,
the lengths I was going to protect her really started to dim my character. Because, ma'am,
yeah.
you're lying now. You're lying. You're just telling full up lies and trying.
Ma'am.
Now you're going back and forth, and now you actually do look crazy. Now
Mm,
you actually do look
mm,
crazy,
mm.
even though that I was doing that to protect her in a really weird way that doesn't make sense now. But in the moment, like back then in my 21, 22-year-old mind, I was like, this makes complete sense. And I'm going to
Right.
stick to it. Long story short, it had got to a point where I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And one day I blew up on her.
All
And
right now.
yikes. I blew up on her, and our colleagues heard every single word. How embarrassing.
Whew.
How embarrassing. It was very embarrassing. I remember, actually, I can't remember. I blacked out. Like I blacked out as I was saying things to her. I wasn't being like vulgar or anything. It was kind of on the lines of, you're bullying me and this, and it was more of a cry for help. It was like, how can you do this to me? You said you were my friend. You did this, da 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 da. You're treating me like this. You treated me like a baby. I'm not a baby, and I don't want to be treated like an adult. Why are you doing?
Whew.
Now, you know me, it's Quiana. So I went there. It's full dramatic. Like I'm giving you drama. I'm giving you full drama. But like I blacked out and I didn't remember. I couldn't remember what was going on. But I just remember. I do remember saying, "You are bullying me. You are a bully." I remember saying that. Yeah. I I don't know. Yeah. Oh, wow. Not be getting caught up in that moment really quick. Hold on a second. Let me just
Listen.
step
He
out of
said,
it.
he said, excuse me, it's my show. I am here. Okay. I am
Let me
and
step into the action
seen.
real quick. Let me
And
say, I said it in that, okay? I said and seen. I meant that. I really meant that.
yes.
But yeah, I remember she stood in disbelief because this was the first time she was hearing any of this.
Yes.
And I had never given her the chance to know that she was hurting me. And with never giving her the chance to know that she was hurting me, I robbed her the chance of fixing it for me.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I robbed her that chance as a friend for her to be like, I'm sorry, Quiana. I won't do that anymore. I will respect you.
Mm.
That was not an option for her.
Right.
Because I harbored these feelings in secret. I could have told her, look, straight up, you cannot talk to me like this. I do not feel respected when you talk down to me. But I didn't know I could give myself the permission to say that to her.
Yeah.
I didn't know my self-worth. I was so busy trying to protect her feelings, I neglected my own. And I started harboring resentment toward her in secret. And it began to eat away at me. Can I have the next slide, please?
First and foremost.
Oh, yes, please.
Some key words that you've said in there. Well, the most important word that I picked up was permission. Giving yourself permission, right? And giving her the permission and the space to really fix and express. But overall, what I'm hearing is that everything that you went through again speaks to this definition that says often at the expense of his or her own desires, needs or desires. And it just goes to show that this really was at the expense of your emotional well-being. It was at the expense of your mental well-being. But we
At
grow.
the expense of my character.
The expense of your character.
My character instantly, like I remember, which is what I'm gonna get into. Like this was another toxic cycle that I had fallen victim to over and over again. And I was freaking out. Like I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink for weeks. I stayed in bed with the windows and blinds shut. Like I felt so alone for the rest of that tour. Like even though people were coming up to me and like trying to make me feel better and being like, listen, like, like you're validated, your feelings are validated. It was hard for me going from the sweet girl that everyone knew to this complete psycho who didn't know how to control her emotions and didn't know how to speak up for herself until it was too late. And I had to eat that. I had to eat, like, I was like, yeah, I never told her that she was doing these things. No, I didn't. But it got to the point where I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
I had to eat that. So when it comes to people pleasing, you are pleasing everyone but yourself. You are the person that you will be with your entire life. You are the person's whose emotions you are responsible for. Right. You are the only person's emotions that you can control. No one else's. And you can't control what so-and-so says about you. You can't control what so-and-so thinks about you or how they look at you. But you really have to focus on what you need. Your needs are very important, and we have to learn how to speak up for those needs. And this is a way that you can show up for yourself. This is a way that you can show up for yourself. It's an act of self-love. I'm going to keep coming back to that too.
I'm taking notes. See, I just want to check that people are taking notes because she's preaching today. Okay, she's preaching good. Okay, so I hope y'all are like.
I'm trying. It's coming out. It's like coming out because I just remember like being like, this could have been so easy. I could have enjoyed my last however many months on this show. I could have enjoyed it, but I didn't know how to speak up for my needs, and I didn't think I had the permission to.
Yeah.
But it's like, wow, okay, that comes from yourself. Speaking up for yourself can look like many things. It can look like asking for a raise to match what you believe your worth is. It can be, hey, can you stop making that joke? It makes me uncomfortable. It can just be say no. Like, you don't have to over-explain yourself. You can truly just say no. And that one, saying no, let's speak about it. As a Black woman,
sips her tea.
Sips green tea.
Right.
Black woman, For so long, we've had to dim our voice to appease others, and that has hurt us over generations. It's passed down through generations. It's passed down. We gotta say no. Because if we aren't careful, like, we will walk the rest of our lives resentful and mad if we don't speak up for our needs and wants. It's true.
Yep.
And here's the thing. I have been learning that it is okay to be assertive in my speech. You know, I've been doing exercises with my therapist. Thank God for my therapist, you know. And I would suggest therapy if you can't afford therapy. There are a lot of resources on Instagram. There are a lot of like therapists that are just posting things and having discussions. Like, there are resources out there. But like, I was talking to my therapist about things, and I was just like, she's like, you're passive. You're being passive when you say this.
Ooh.
And that's not actually getting your point across. That is still you putting their needs over yours. And I was like, what are you? Ah! I want to be nice. I was like, I want to be nice. I'm a nice person. I'm a sweet girl. This is my aura. This is my light. I shine here.
No, I don't like it.
It's like, but she was like, ma'am, I didn't say that you can't be nice. Like, you can still be nice and assertive at the same time.
This is true.
You got to be assertive. That doesn't mean that you're not nice.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, you know, if you want people to respect you, you got to respect you. You don't have to be mean, but you do have to be stern and direct. Hey, in order for this to work for me, I need you to do this. That's it. And I'm speaking like I'm just like I got this down on lock, but I don't. Like, it's still very scary for me to speak up my mind.
Yes.
But every single time I've done it, I've let the situation so relieved, and most of the time getting exactly what I wanted. So there's power in your voice. Use it. There's power in it.
Mm-hmm.
So this next poem that I wrote is this. Do they see what I see? Do they feel what I feel? I scream for respect in silence, but no one hears me. I wonder if they ever will.
I truly feel like we need to have like instrumentals at the back when she's like done with her poem. We like, I'm seeing a young Erica Badu, I'm seeing a young head wrap, I'm seeing people in the back being like, yes, queen. Yes, queen.
But no, it's real though. Like, you are screaming in silence and expecting someone to hear you. How?
How's that helpful to anybody? How's that helpful to you?
Those people, they're not going to hear you if you're screaming in silence. You got to speak up for yourself. You got to speak up for what you feel. Nobody is you. You're the only person who knows how you feel. And if you don't say it, listen. We got to stop making ourselves the lead character in everybody else's story. That is not it.
What?
I'm not the main character in your story. So for me to sit here and just be like, yeah, she should know exactly how I feel is absolutely absurd.
Right.
Grow up. You got to grow up at some point. You are not the main character in everyone's story. So
I don't like the way you're speaking to me right now, Quiana. Settle down. Settle down now. Okay. That's enough. It's enough.
And you know what? Now I can be like, hey, thank you for speaking up. I will settle down. You know, if that's what you need for your boundary, boom, boom, boom. But we're going full force. But yeah, so yeah, that's my people pleasing spiel. Next, we're moving on to setting boundaries. Yes, setting boundaries. A boundary is a real or imaginary point beyond which a person or thing cannot go. I can't go. I can't go past this. So like, if you want me to be in your life, like, I need you to stay here. Like, you can't do this, or I have to remove myself from the situation. All right. So here we go. So this next and final topic goes hand in hand with people pleasing.
Yeah.
They're in love. I was finishing up my contract with Disney, and I was heading back to Boston to sing in a wedding band I had been working on and off with. I was working on the weekends with this band in Boston and auditioning throughout the week in New York City. I was getting major burnout from traveling back and forth. And I feel like I was balancing the earth on my plate. I feel like I was balancing so much on my plate.
Yes.
At any moment, I would have been like, oh, I'm going to tip over. Oh, nope. Now she's at any point. That's how I was feeling. I was barely getting sleep because all of my free time was spent memorizing lines, memorizing music, analyzing characters, like literally had no time. And I wasn't eating because I felt like I didn't have time to enjoy a meal. Like literally I was like, oh my God, I don't have time to eat. I have to focus on this because like this is my career. Like I'm in the room now. So like I have to like literally in that headspace, how unhealthy, like looking back.
Yeah.
It sounds silly now, but it was very serious then. Like I was like, yeah, I don't have the time to eat. Like I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to be on it.
Yeah. Sure. And that's so funny because I've seen that. Like, you know, I don't have access to your life like that, but what I've seen on social media, like I always see during the week you were like busy with, you know, being at a performance, and then the weekend all of a sudden I'd be like, how are you in Massachusetts now? How are you like performing at a wedding when 2 seconds ago I could have sworn I saw you in Atlanta? How did you even get here? And so it's interesting that you bring that up right now, because it's like from the outside in, it just looks like you're kind of living this amazing life where you get to travel, you get to enjoy your life, you get to city, Quiana's performing and whatnot, but we don't actually see the back end of what's happening and how intense and how it weighs on you so much. So I'm really curious to hear a little bit more about how you've learned to kind of balance those things. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I really felt like I needed to say that because I've seen that, and I've always asked myself, how is she doing that?
Mm-hmm. And for y'all who don't know, me and Neo, we went to Berkeley together, so we've seen each other through all this. So that's how she's seen me. But yeah, for weeks, months, I was feeling this overwhelming exhaustion.
Yeah.
I was getting some amazing opportunities, and I was jumping at every single one of them because I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna have the chance to do this later. Do it now. But with that mindset, it's exhausting, and you're going to wear yourself thin. And I wore myself thin. And I thought at the time I was like, no, I can do it. I'm strong. I got it. Like, don't tell me what to do. I got it. I don't need a break. I don't need rest. Like, that's the headspace I was at, just to paint you a picture of where I was at. But yeah, I was feeling this overexhaustion going back and forth. And I was getting some amazing opportunities, but there were some that didn't fit me as the artist I was growing into. And I remember just saying yes to a lot of things, and yes to things I was like, I don't really see this for me, but I'm still going to say yes because I can. But I was starting to notice, like, okay, like this is an opportunity that I think I'm better without. I think I'm better seeing this one out. My manager had worked so hard on getting me all of these auditions. And like, while I was so grateful for all of them, there was one audition in particular that I knew I, one, didn't want to go in for. Two, I knew I wasn't a good fit for. And three, I knew I didn't have the time and energy to do. So it was around 11 p.m. one night, and I was practicing this last minute material. Like I had gotten the email at 10 p.m. and they were like, audition tomorrow in New York at 12 p.m. And I said, oh my God, I'm in Boston. And how am I going to get there? So
first and foremost, how am I getting there?
First and foremost, I had already done a whole day of like preparation for like auditions that were coming up. I got this last minute one that was for tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, I now have to look at this material. Although I'm tired now, this was kind of my bedtime. I'm about to be in the bed, but now I have to look at this material. Okay, so here I am reading this material and going through it, and I have to be ready to audition with this in 12 hours. Okay, so I'm now trying to digest this paper, these papers, these lines, all this stuff in my hand. And I'm also like, oh my gosh, I have to like figure out how I'm going to get to New York City tomorrow. So like literally doing this. How am I going to do it? Like what, I'm looking at how am I going to get there? So like I was starting to get discouraged because every transportation option I looked into would get me into the city very close to my audition time.
Right. Not ideal.
And yeah, not ideal at all. And so I started to entertain the idea of driving.
Sure.
Okay. But driving wasn't going to work either. Like that wasn't going to work. Like let's talk about it. Like, okay, I'm about to go to sleep, but like I got this audition. I'm looking at this stuff. I'm gonna have to drive. That means I have to get enough sleep in order to drive the 4.5 hours to the city. But while I'm driving, I'm not gonna be able to look at the material that I haven't been able to digest because I haven't been able to sleep. And so
a whole cycle, right? It's a whole cycle. It's vicious.
It's just right now, I have already made up in my mind that like, this is too much for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now at my wit's end. I'm like this. I don't know if I don't think I can do it. That's what the question was. It wasn't of I can't do it. Like that Quiana then said, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can. That was where I was living. So I was like, this is looking like a lose-lose situation because it's looking like I'm going to be very tired anyway, and I'm not going to have time to digest the material in order for me to do well in the room, which is why I'm in New York anyway, which is why I'm buying the ticket to get there. Like, it's a lose-lose situation. And with all of that anxiety rising within me, I started getting nervous about thinking about asking my manager if I could sit this audition out. Like, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to like email him and tell him like that I can't do it. I started freaking out. I don't know. I don't know. I felt like I had to say yes, and I felt like I had to do it in order to remain in good standing with him.
Right.
Of course, this was something I made up in my own head. I had never talked to him about how I was feeling. I just assumed that he would be mad at me for not taking this audition. I just assumed that. But then something clicked for me. And I thought about all the times that I didn't ask for help. I thought about all of the times I went along with things I didn't want to do. And I hated feeling the feeling that came along with me not setting a boundary for myself. I hated it. I was like, oh, now I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, and it's my fault. That's the worst feeling ever. Okay, it's my fault that I'm being taken like advantage of here because I didn't speak up for something. So I decided that I had to let my manager know what was up. And here is where the overthinking started. I was like, oh my God, he's gonna let me go. He's gonna yell at me. He's gonna tell the casting directors never to book me again. Oh my gosh, he's gonna like literally hate me. He's never gonna send me out on anything else, and he's gonna blackmail me. Like he's gonna blacklist me from the industry. All of these literally within seconds is coming to my head. I'm like, yo, can y'all chill? Really, Quiana? Like I thought all of this, even though he's never shown mean behavior like that towards me. Like, he's never shown that side to me. Like, why is this happening to me? I was literally freaking myself out. And for what? Quiana, you're not Superwoman. You cannot do it all, and that is okay. Tell this man that you cannot go to this audition. Look at me trying to hype myself up. Tell him, you got it. You got it, Quiana. You can't do all of it. So through that process took a couple hours. Like literally after a few hours of calling my friends for advice, I was drafting this email and literally holding back tears. Why am I so dramatic? That's just me though. I gotta live with it now.
It is who you are, and you've come to accept.
Listen, I'm like literally holding back tears writing this email, and I'm like, I finally said, hey team, I am feeling very overwhelmed with this new audition. This show isn't something that I see myself in, and with the late notice and limited transportation to the city, I don't think I'm going to do well with this one.
Yeah.
I also need time to rest. I am feeling exhausted and might need a few days to recover for me to be good for my next auditions coming up.
Yeah.
That I have worked on and have prepared and have had time to sit with. I really want to do good with those. I really want to focus in on those.
Mm.
Do y'all want to know what his reply was?
Tell us.
He said, sure thing, Quiana. Thanks for the heads up. I want you to be on your A game. And if this isn't the one, it's not the one. Get some rest. We'll be in talk soon. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that I could have emailed this hours ago without all of the dramatics? You mean to say I could have saved myself the headache by not overthinking? You mean to say I could have been 3 hours into my REM cycle?
Mm-hmm.
I could have been asleep this entire
Listen,
time.
You said I'm about to go lay down.
Go lay down. Yo, you are silly for that. Go lay down. Yes, I could have been laying down. I could have been in my bed.
Mm-hmm.
But this moment really shifted things for me in my career, like in how I'm going about things now. My manager just confirmed to me that it is okay to say no.
Yes.
I had made him out to be this untouchable figure when in reality, we're on the same team. We're Team Quiana.
You are Quiana. Mm-hmm.
I looked back at how I was acting in fear and realized how much time and energy I wasted putting myself in this unnecessary frenzy.
Yeah.
And how can I say I love myself when I do that to myself? My manager isn't the one going into the audition. I am. And I need to feel comfortable going into that room. Me. So if I'm not feeling comfortable and well enough, I'm sorry, manager, but you're going to have to accept that.
Thank you.
This is me. And that sat with me for a long time. And it was a good lesson that I had to learn. And believe me, I reaped the benefits of setting that boundary with him. Yeah. I have to rest. I'm sorry. I was able to sleep that night and the next couple of days, and I got back on track. Life went on. Life went on how I needed it to. Life went on how I needed it to. Can we just say that? Life went on how I needed it to. I needed to rest. I needed that. So here's
you can't function. You can't show up without you taking care of yourself, right? It's physically impossible. I saw a quote today that was like, at one point you think everything is important until you get sick and you realize that there's actually really one thing that's important, and that's your health. And if you jeopardize your ability to take care of yourself, your mind, your body, your spirit, how can you show up for anything else? Literally.
You can't.
You cannot.
You're just, you can physically show up, but you're just going to be an empty vessel, I guess, walking into the thing. Yeah. Yeah. Some things that I've been learning about boundaries. I still have trouble with this.
So do we.
It's hard. But what I will say is start by setting self boundaries. Talk to yourself and tell yourself what you do and don't want and need. Something I say to myself all the time is, Quiana, don't talk negatively about yourself like that. It makes me feel unworthy. And yeah, it sounds silly to be talking to myself, I feel unworthy, Quiana, but it's just if you're having that conversation to yourself and you're saying, when you speak like that, you're making yourself feel unworthy, then kind of stop doing that, because you don't want to feel unworthy. I don't want to feel unworthy.
Yeah.
Don't want to. So stop doing that to yourself. So have talks about what you're doing to yourself and tell yourself to stop doing that. That has gotten me into a good routine of like starting to feel how I would say it to someone else. You can start by practicing smaller boundaries. Like, hey roommate, can you like turn your music down after 10 p.m.? I can't sleep and I have to work in the morning. You don't have to over explain. Set the boundary. Set the boundary.
Keyword, you don't have to over explain. That is yes, important. Yeah.
Because that's where the overthinking starts.
Right.
Then you're like, why do I actually feel I need this boundary? And then somehow every time I do that, I end up winding up saying, actually, I don't need the boundary. Actually, I'm just being petty.
Neglecting yourself all over again.
Again, stop overthinking about it and just say it. Say what you mean.
Say what you need to say.
Practice saying no. Like, really think about how you would feel about doing the thing that you're being asked to do. And if you feel like you wouldn't be happy participating, just say no.
Yeah.
It will free you, and it will give the other party a chance to make the adjustments they need. And you can continue on doing the things you wanted to do in the first place. Like, the times I've said no have been the most freeing times of my life. Let me just say. Because I'm
good.
like, no, I would have been miserable sitting there. And like, even though I could have done it, like, this is something that I needed to do more for me. And I'm sorry I can't help you with your project, but my project needs attention. I need attention tonight. So I'm sorry, I can't come to your movie night. I need me time. Simply that. Yes. Practice by saying no. Can I have the next slide, please?
Of course.
Here is my setting boundaries poem. Liquid time. Gentle water in cupped fingers. Impossible to grasp onto. With the slight shake of my hand, I watch as it escapes me. So I don't know, I had this metaphor of like time being water in your hands. Like, you can't grasp it. You can't grasp time. And my hand is kind of representing my mind. And if I am trembling and shaking all the time and not owning what I need, the time escapes. Time is going to leave you no matter what, you know. Hold it steady, know what you want, be firm, and hold your boundaries near and dear, hold them, cup them. Time is going to pass you by. And if you aren't, you're going to be upset with how you've wasted that time.
For sure, yeah.
You know? Yeah, and one thing that I wish I knew with setting boundaries, I wish I remembered how valuable my time is. Because life is too short to be wasting our energy on worrying. That's a negative emotion. You got to say what you need to say. And the sooner, the better. The sooner, the better.
Amen.
May I have the next slide, please? I am going to wrap up my presentation portion of the night by saying, take care of yourself. This is what we're encompassing here. Setting boundaries, not people pleasing, not giving into your imposter syndrome is all ways you can take care of yourself. Speak when you need to. There are ways to put your desires at the forefront without being rude or disrespectful to anyone else's. But know you are worthy Trust your knowledge, trust your preparation, trust your ability. You are deserving of the spot that was created for you. It was created for you. You're deserving of it. Don't shy away from it. And I thank you for listening to me tonight. That's my presentation. Whew, thank you. Thank you.
Can we give Miss Quiana a round of applause? Hold on. Y'all. Okay, listen. Again, like this is our first time using this, but I'm gonna go ahead and try it out. Let's see what we have here. Okay, that's not what I wanted it to be. It's not. It's not what I wanted it to be. But I was trying to like set the ambiance for us to just give Quiana a round of applause. So I'll give you the round of applause, Quiana, by myself. Everybody in the studio at the back is snapping and clapping for you at the back. And yes, you did it.
I'm clapping too. I did. I was so nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, but
you did that. You did that, and you did such an exceptional job. And thank you again for joining us. I'm actually going to pass it over to Jay to join us back in the studio so that he can kind of take over this portion.
Yeah.
Hey Jay, welcome back.
It's been great. I've been in the chat. People have been getting their lives together. We randomly were getting chat bombed by some random bot, but we took care of it. It's been handled, and we're not letting that impact all the insights and wisdom and joy that's been like coming our way. So people are loving you over there in the YouTube comments. I just wanted to let you know that. So we are entering into the end of our evening, folks. And really quickly, I want to open it up. If anyone in our audience, whether you're here on the StreamYard or over on YouTube, to drop a question in there. And while you get that together, don't worry, this conversation is not over. So what happens next is Quiana's going to be a guest on the companion podcast to this series. It's called Heart Behind the Hustle. And so we're going to go even more in depth and ask even more questions and really spend some time really shining and polishing those gems. So how are you feeling right now, Quiana? How are you feeling about confronting kind of everything you're going through, everything that you talked about, kind of going through that in real time? You know what I mean? So how was that weird meta experience for you so far?
Honestly, it makes me emotional. Because it is happening. It's happening in real life.
Yeah.
It's happening in real time. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I did it, like, is really overwhelming. And it's like, I guess I have learned something. I guess I have been doing the work, and I guess I have been, doing the preparation, for it. And I'm trying to like opening up about this and feeling the positive feedback and feeling that like I'm not alone in it, and to know that y'all have gone through it too just makes me not feel alone. And there's an empowerment in that, and I feel so relieved. I feel like this.
Yeah.
I feel. And so it just makes me emotional because I'm just like, wow, like not me giving a presentation on the thing that like I'm actually doing right now, so and I just feel a lot of support. So I thank you.
Absolutely.
For creating the space for me.
Thank you. And I mean, honestly, that's a perfect way to close, because again, why this series was so important for us was that feeling of like when we're artists and we're trying to make it, there's this pressure to flex, right? There's this pressure to always like, oh, this is what's going good, and I have this opportunity and this thing. And so often we like suffer in silence. And what's so crazy about it, and what we saw when we ran that first cohort, was all of those things that we thought we were going through alone, everybody else had gone through, and was like, oh, so this is just a thing, not my thing. not just my baggage, not my crazy, but like a shared experience of just moving through this world together as artists. And we found that the more we were just authentically open with each other, the more we could heal, the more we could release all of those things and work through it together. So again, thank you so much. Cannot wait to follow up with you on Heart Behind the Hustle, dropping soon. Thank you to all of the members of our audience who is here tonight. And we will see you guys soon. Thank you so much. Have a good evening, folks.
Good night.
Good night. Now, Neo, you do got to stop this stream. I don't know how to do that part. Because you're the host.